Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining the Commodities Procurement Opportunities Small Business Webinar, which is the third webinar of this small business series. And today we'll be going quickly over the agenda, and then we'll turn it over to our friends at GSC. But my name is Daniel Cho. I'm one of the supervisors here at the Office of Procurement, as well as I'm joined by Monica, if you'd like to give a quick intro.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Monica Kino, and I'm a management analyst for Office of Procurement. And thank you for joining us today. As Daniel mentioned, this small business webinar will be focused on commodities purchasing, and we do have our colleagues at General Services Division here to present their presentation accessible to small businesses. And we'll have some questions at the end. If you do have questions throughout, we do ask that you put them into the chat space, and our team will do our best to address them throughout. And we will have time at the end for a short Q&A session to address any other questions as well. Otherwise, this is being recorded, and we will be able to distribute both the resources we discuss and the recording, as well as the presentation shortly after. But thank you so much.
Awesome. And with that said, we'll go ahead and we will turn it over to Brillando from General Services Department. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Briando Belmonte. I'm a procurement supervisor with GSD Supply Services. I manage the industrial commodity group here at the Hyperion Treatment Plant. Joining me here today is Brian Swanson and Martha Medina. Brian is the Assistant Director for the Supplier and Customer Relations Group, and Martha is the Procurement Supervisor over the Construction and Building Maintenance Buying Group. On behalf of General Services Department, we'd like to thank you for your interest in doing business with the City of Los Angeles. Next slide, please. The slide prior, sorry. Our mission and organization. The supply services mission is to procure, I'm sorry, there's the box there. I can't read the slide. Is there any way you can shrink?
You have to go to view options and go to side-by-side mode.
View options.
On top?
Okay. Sorry about that. The Supply Services Division's mission is to procure all supplies, equipment, and services in a cost-effective and timely manner. In attempting to fulfill this mission, all qualified suppliers will be given an equal opportunity to do business with the city. The Supply Services Division is organized and comprised of 5 commodity buying groups and 3 support groups. The support groups are supplier and customer relations, systems, and payment services. Supply Services Division manages the entire supply chain under one roof. It is responsible for procurement, inventory management, salvage, payment, supplier and customer relations, and FMS support functions. Procurement staff are organized into 5 centralized buying groups. They are automotive, construction and building maintenance, general operations, and IT, industrial, and public safety. We buy for over 44 different city departments and bureaus, and we procure a wide range of goods and services. Last fiscal year, 22-23, we spent over $633 million in purchases. We have over 440 annual requirements contracts, and we issued 76,000 contract purchase orders against those contracts. We awarded 2,300 one-time purchase orders for non-contracted items over $1,000, and we issued 22,000 blanket purchase orders for non-contract items under $1,000. As you can see from these statistics, the city offers plenty of opportunities for small businesses. So we encourage you to take advantage of our bid opportunities, because we would love to see more competition in the marketplace And that is a win-win for everybody. Brian?
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that information, Bree. Greatly appreciated. Again, my name is Brian Swanson. I'm the Assistant Director of Supplier and Customer Relations here at the General Services Department. And today I'm going to be talking about different ways that small businesses and companies alike can access the supply process here with the City of Los Angeles and how they can go ahead and get started with doing business with the City of LA. So on the slide here right now, we have a couple different websites, some additional information. The first is our Department of General Services website, which is where you'll also find our Supply Services Division information. I encourage you to all, after this meeting, to take a look at that website, get to understand who we are at the City of Los Angeles, our mission statement, and some other valuable information for suppliers. The next two websites that we have listed here are very important for starting to do business with the City of LA. So the first is the Los Angeles Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement, also known as LARAMP. And from a commodities standpoint, this website, all businesses will have to register for, because we utilize it to have companies submit compliance documents, set their NAICS code notifications, which are, you can set up your profile to be notified of opportunities that are relevant to your company or ones that you may be interested in, as well as other great functionalities that RAMP provides. In addition to RAMP, there's a second website, which is known as the Los Angeles Vendor Self-Service website, also known as LAVSS. And companies will need to register for this website in order to submit online bids, update their company info, view current commodity opportunities, and more. So I'll dive into LAVSS here in a little bit and even provide a short demonstration of the website here shortly. Lastly, we are also here in person, City Hall South, room 110, and I'm also sharing with you the general City of Los Angeles website for, again, you to take a look at after this meeting to get more familiar with the city and its different operations. Next slide, please. This is just a glance of the General Services website. Next slide, please. The LAVSS website. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about LAVSS. So again, LAVSS is required that businesses register for, because that's where we post all of our commodity procurement opportunities, and it's the portal that we use to accept all of our bids electronically. The city does no longer accept paper bids, so the only way to participate in opportunities will be through LAVSS. In order to respond to these, a vendor must have an LAVSS account. And again, to reiterate, the LAVSS portal not only allows you to submit bids, but allows you to do other different things like view commodity bid opportunities for non-proprietary city departments, which means all those except for LADWP, harbor, airports. But it also allows you to submit and track invoices for payments, maintain company information, so that you could assign users different types of access that are appropriate to your company, and maintain your vendors' information using LAVSS. And again, there's the link for convenience. Okay, so if you haven't already done so, I encourage you to register for the Los Angeles Vendor Self-Service website so that you could start doing some of these activities that I've talked about previously. So if you have not done business with the city before, you're going to go ahead and click New Registration. If you have done previous business with the city, meaning you have a vendor ID that starts with zeros, so for example, 000123455, you're going to go ahead and request activation of that existing account. For a little bit of background, vendor IDs that start with 000 are commodity purchasing agent vendors, And if you have a vendor ID such as one that starts with a VS, that is a bidder only account, meaning you could go into VSS, you could participate in bids, submit bids, but once you are awarded a purchase order, you will be assigned a purchasing agent vendor ID, one that starts with the zeros, as noted right there. If you are unsure, if you have previously done business with the city, or maybe you've forgotten your previous vendor ID, you can always reach us through a few different ways. One is directly to our office. You could call us at 213-928-9500, and we have a help desk that's ready to assist. Or you can email us at askv, as in Victor, ss@lacity.org, and we'll get back to you to provide assistance. In addition to those modes of assistance, we also have step-by-step guides that can help walk you through the registration process on the LAVSS website. So I'll go ahead and during the demonstration show you where you can find those guides for you. All right, next slide, please. All right. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and do a brief overview of LAVSS. So let me share my screen here. All right. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So this is the LAVSS website, so lavss.lacity.org. From here, this is viewable to anyone, any public member can go to this website, and there's a few different things that I'd like to just point out. So the first being those online assistance guides that I had mentioned previously. If you go to this download vendor guides and forms, you can see that there's a variety of guides that are available to you. So ranging from how to build and upload a catalog, how to create a LAVSS account, how to submit a response for a commodity business opportunity. You can go and take a look at these and use these as a resource to you. So say, for example, how to create an LAVSS account. I can go and click on it, and there's a PDF available that walks you through screenshots, how to sign up or register your account, provides additional information that can help you, get registered and get started with using LAVSS. Okay, so in addition to that, there's also our View Public Solicitations tab, which we'll go ahead and list out all the current opportunities that the city is soliciting bids for. So if you look, there's general information such as the description. So again, we purchase over $600 million worth of commodities each year for city departments. So on this page, you'll find everything from filters for Department of Sanitation to archery kits for recreation and parks. So this is changing every day. There's you can see there's the closing date and time for each event, and there's even a countdown clock so that you can see this one's going to close tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then the last tab that I want to show you guys is regarding video tutorials. So in addition to the PDFs, we understand that some people want to see the walkthrough and not just look through a PDF. So we put together some VSS video tutorials that cover a lot of the same topics, but just is a different way for you to learn and support you as you do these different activities in LAVSS. So if we go to register for LAVSS, it will take you to a YouTube video that will just walk you through the different steps and actions that you can take to get registered for LAVSS. So again, another helpful tool. so enough of that, and let's go ahead and log into LAVSS so that you can see what it looks like once you get registered and some basic navigation of LAVSS. Okay. So once logged into LAVSS, this is the LAVSS homepage. You can find everything from information regarding your account to these quick links up the top, solicitations, my watch list is if you want to add certain events to a watch list so that you can keep an eye on them, you can add those there, my responses, and a few other different types of quick links. So we'll go through a few of them today and just give you a general overview of LAVSS. All right, so one of the ones that I want to talk about is solicitations. And again, it will take you to that same page where it lists out all the solicitations currently being offered for commodity opportunities. So let's say, you know, you look through these, you want to, let's, for example, your company provides filters that meet this, that meet this opportunities requirements. So what you'll do is you go ahead and click into the RFQ, the request for quotation, and view the opportunities. So go through all the lines here, everything from general information to the commodity line, which will provide you information on what the item is that needs to be procured. So we can see there's a type of filter here. We got the specifications, manufacturer number, we got quantity of how much is being requested, and some other additional information. So this is where you could go into the opportunity, look at the commodity lines, see what it is that the city is requesting. So in addition to this filter, some transportation costs. So we're taking a look at all that. An important tab that you will also need to review is the attachments tab. So if you go to the attachments tab and click on the PDF document here, let's see here, should download. Okay. You'll see that an attachment is pulled up, which has all the information on the request for quote. So as a bidder, it's your responsibility to read all this information in its entirety because it has a lot of important information that you'll need to fill out, such as what it is that the city's requesting, information regarding your company, your vendor ID, points of contact for your company, as well as general terms and conditions that the city has for businesses. So it's important to take a look at all these. There's information such as ship to information, if there's an additional quantities clause that will be granted or not granted. So it's important to take a look at all this, to fill out the information and to sign it and have this handy for when it comes to submitting your bid response. It is important to note that this is a requirement that your bid be complete. So if you do not completely fill this out, or if you do not attach any necessary documents, then your bid can be deemed non-responsive, and you will not be able to participate in the opportunity. So it's important to view this attachment section, make sure you read through them all, fill them out, and have them handy for when it comes to submitting your bid. So there's additional information here that the procurement analysts will include. And so let's assume I reviewed this, I reviewed my attachments, I scanned them, filled them out, and I'd like to participate on this opportunity. So let's go and take a look. So to do so, you'll go ahead and click respond online. Seems to be a little slow at the moment, so Just bear with me for a minute. Okay, and we'll go through, so once you click respond online, LAVSS will create a solicitation response document, which you can see here, and this is going to be your bid document. What we'll go through is, let me zoom here just a tad bit. You'll see there's some different sections that we'll each go through in order to respond to this request for quote. So the first section is going to be select the lines that you want to respond for. So I'm going to assume that I want to respond for both the filter as well as the hazardous waste or scrap and transportation that was being requested as part of the 2 lines. Okay, and then from this section, the second section, you're gonna again see what the item is that you want to bid on. You can select your response type as bid with condition, or no bid. You enter the unit price. So let's say I'm gonna quote the city $100 for each of these filters. In the additional specifications area, you'll see that there's information that you can add here, such as manufacturer part number, supplier part number, any serial numbers. So be as specific as you can, because it helps the procurement analyst in reviewing the bid and making sure that it meets the specifications and the needs of our city departments. In addition to additional specs, there's also an environmentally preference tab. So if there is any environmental preferable qualities to the item that you are quoting the city for, you can select, there's different types of certifications. So you can fill up to 3 certifications. If there's any recycled content, you can note that here in your the post-consumer percentage or total recovered content percentage fields. And then if there's any specific attributes that are environmentally preferable for the product, you can go ahead and select them here. The EPP fields are not required, but we do encourage vendors to fill out this information the best they can, and if there are environmentally preferable products that they could provide, to go ahead and fill these sections out. So if there's a general comment section, if you have any additional comments that you want to provide. And then for the second item here, let's say transportation costs, I'm going to give me a price of 50. And once we're done with this second section, we're going to go and click continue. In the third section, we'll have response to criteria. So this is where the procurement analyst will note some important information that we require a response from the vendor. So the first 2 is just acknowledging that online bids are required, that they require the attached comments and clauses. So like that attachment that I had downloaded earlier. Again, just noting that failure to upload any required attachments may deem your bid non-responsive. And then this is where you as a bidder have to acknowledge this online requirement. So you would select yes. And then for the last section, any necessary documents are uploaded with your online bid. So again, just acknowledging yes. All right, so moving on to section 4 here, where we're going to be talking about payment discount terms. So the city operates on a 0% discount net 30 days, which means the payment terms are no discount, and that the city will process payment in 30 days. If you as the supplier are going to be offering a discount for some different payment terms, then this is your opportunity and the place where you would note that. So if you're going to be offering, say, a 1% discount, if the city processes payment in a shorter time frame, say 25 days, then this is where you could go ahead and note it. That creates an incentive for both ends, because A, the city can try to capture that discount and provide some cost savings to the city. But also you as the supplier create an incentive for the city to process payment quicker than the 30 days. So this is where, if applicable, you can go ahead and fill that information out, as well as any overall response comments, or if you are no bidding, providing some no bid comments in that field. If you are not going to be offering any discount and keep terms at 0% net 30 days, then you could go ahead and leave this field blank. Okay. So moving along here, we just have two more sections. This section is regarding attachments. So, like I had mentioned earlier, it's important for you to go to the RFQ to download any necessary attachments, review them, fill them out, scan them, and then this is where you would upload them with your bid. So from here, you would click add attachments, you could browse, you can drop them in here. So there's a few different ways that you could upload any necessary attachments for your bid. So make sure to complete this section here. So once completed, you'll go ahead and click continue. And since this is tied to an actual bid opportunity, I won't submit right now. But the last section here is where you will review your response. You'll see it's got your response ID, your vendor customer code, which is all system generated. You'll see the unit price for line 1, and what you quoted at, what the city at. If there's any EPP or environmentally friendly certificates or attributes, they'll be listed here. So this is where you're just going through reviewing to make sure that everything looks according to what you had submitted. Any sort of attachments, making sure that your acknowledgements are listed, any discounts. And then from there, you would submit your response. I will warn you that even if your bid is perfect and there are no errors, once you click submit response, it will generate a warning. And the warning will ask that you confirm your EPP information is correct, whether it's blank or filled out. The reason for that is we really want to make sure that vendors are double checking that area for the instance that, you know, if they do have EPP information, that it is entered, or if there is no EPP information, that they could confirm that there's no EPP attributes for their bid. So again, it's just a warning. All you would have to do is click submit response again, and that'll go ahead and submit your response. So assuming that I filled out my bid, I submitted it, everything looks good, I always encourage vendors to go to this section here, my responses. And the reason for that is in this section, they'll be able to see the response status of their bid. So what you would like to see is your solicitation and response with a response status of accepted, and then the solicitation ID and other information all lined up. If you go to this section and you see that your solicitation response is either draft or rejected, that means the system did not accept your bid and you have to go back and resolve those errors. So to do so, you would just simply click the solicitation response and it will pull you back to that response so that you can go ahead and click edit and resolve any errors that you may still have. If you have any errors that you're not sure how to fix, we're always here to support you. So again, you can call us at that number that I mentioned previously, or email us at LAVSS. The last thing that I wanted to note in regards to LAVSS webpage is when you're in the solicitation view, so RFQ, RFP, if you have a question, the best way to submit that question is through the LAVSS portal. And the reason for that is to ensure transparency and also to eliminate duplicate questions, because maybe you and other companies will have the same questions. So what happens is you go to the view page, you click Ask Buyer, and what you'll be able to do is ask a question, type out your question, such as, can I get clarification on the commodity? You know, whatever type of question you have, you submit your question, and then the list of questions and answers will be posted on the opportunity, which again provides transparency to make sure everyone's getting the same information, but also can eliminate duplicate questions that the buyer may be getting as a result of a bid posting that they have. So with that, I think we can go back to the original PowerPoint at this time. Okay, great. So that was a lot of information about LAVSS, but an important part of doing business with the city is also the RAMP LA website, which, like I had mentioned before, you could view commodity opportunities for the city of LA, along with other entities on RAMP LA, as well as submit your compliance documents, set up your NAICS code notifications, and a lot of other useful information. So please be sure that you also go to RAMP LA if you haven't already done so, and register for that website as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so just a few notes on requirements to register onto RAMP. RAMP's got a lot of good support and user guides as well. So there is a user manual download section that will walk you through the entire RAMP registration process. And I encourage you to take a look at that if you haven't already. Okay, and then just in closing, one other area and requirement that the city of LA requires is that businesses shall maintain or obtain a business tax registration certificate, also known as a BTRC, from our Office of Finance. If suppliers have questions regarding this, the Office of Finance phone number is listed there, as well as their customer service email. But they do have an online registration process that they've really streamlined. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And if you are going to be doing business with the city of LA, to view that link, the latax.lacity.org link, and that will take you to their online portal where you could go ahead and apply for this business tax certificate and fulfill this requirement for the city of LA. All right, from this point, I'll go ahead and kick it off to Martha.
Hi, I'm Martha Medina. I am the supervisor in procurement for construction and maintenance. I'm one of the 5 groups that Brelando talked about, and Brian. But I want to talk about why it's important to be certified. Being certified helps level the playing field for small and local businesses in the area. For example, small local business preference of up to 10% for contracts or purchases $100,000 or less. Sometimes when you see the term contracts, it basically means an agreement that we've gone into, either a purchase order or a contract. The next preference is a local business preference, which is up to 8%. And that is for local prime contractors. That is for any contracts 150 or in excess, 150 and over. And so any subcontracting done within that is a 5% preference. So it's important to note that it is a definite advantage for everybody who is submitting a bid to make sure that you are certified, because there is a preference. We really do want to support our local businesses within the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles. Certification applications with the city of Los Angeles are free on Public Works Bureau of Contract Administration website, and there's the link attached. Certification is another marketing tool for a company. It can raise a firm's profile in competing against non-certified contractors. However, being certified does not guarantee a company will be awarded a contract. Oh, sorry, I just realized my video wasn't on. Okay, here I am. Sorry about that. So it's important that you get certified if at all possible. If it's something that you qualify for, it definitely helps you when you are competing, and it gives you a preference. And you saw how many one-time purchase orders we do. We do 2,300. So, I mean, definitely that's something you want to be part of the conversation. Next slide, Brian. Depending on the certification, a firm can get free marketing exposure to prime contractor and government agency through the City of LA's online database, the statewide database, and RAMP. Certification is not mutually exclusive. A qualifying firm can have multiple certifications. So we want you to be able to have as many as possible, because the more you have, the better advantage and exposure you have and being able to compete. So that's really important. As I said, and the whole purpose of this presentation is to let you know that we are very interested in supporting the small local businesses and local business enterprises. Next slide, please. Selling to the city. Now, it's important for you to examine your strategy in regard to how you approach a bid. For example, the city also has a large amount of smaller one-time purchase opportunities, which I just alluded to right now. Can your company target those needs as you start to grow your businesses? Who in the city has those needs and converts them into specifications for buying goods and services that will satisfy those needs? Become familiar with the competitive bidding process as it relates to your products and or services. Get to know the customer and or end user departments. Take the time to navigate through the city websites and really understand the departments and what departments are more likely to purchase something that you offer. Include manufacturers and or members of your own supply chain to your marketing strategies. Be aware of city approved versus non-approved products. Well, when we talk about that, we're talking about something that has a specification that is very specific to the city needs. Maybe we only have certain LED lamps, which the city has tested and currently can use. So that is something that when we say non-approved, that's what we're talking about. It is something that possibly has been tested, or the specifications or the requirements for the bid are stated on the bid process. Learn about accounts payable process functions and the importance of obtaining a signed purchase order first. It's really important, as we will continue to talk about, that you make sure that as much as you want to do business, you make sure that you have a signed purchase order first in your hand before you ship or try to procure goods for the city. Next slide, please. Helpful hints and common mistakes to avoid. It's really important that you try not to forget to download, fill out, upload attachment to your solicitation response. Sometimes there's a lot of information, especially when we're looking at annual requirement contracts. There's going to be more than just the RFQ or the RFB filled out. There might be some compliance documents. There might be something in regard to information that we want to know that it's important for you to fill out. So make sure that you download everything on your attachments. Brian showed it to you on what location, when you are responding on LAVSS, you should be looking at. Please make sure you do that. Please make sure you do that in regard to every response that you put through. Delays in submitting response compliance documents on LA-RAMP can also hurt you. We want to make sure that you are already set up and you have followed all the compliance necessary to do business with the city. Do not wait until the last moment to view and respond to opportunities. Oftentimes, we're getting questions at the last moment. Our bid may close at 11 o'clock and we are getting phone calls at 10:30. That is a very difficult position you're putting everybody in. The people who responded in time, people who did it a day in advance, or any of the analysts and people that are working on the bids. We become a little frazzled hoping to make sure that you can respond. So we do our best to make sure if we need to do an extension because you're having trouble submitting for whatever reason, there's a glitch in our system, we want to make sure that we do get your bids. So make sure you do not wait to the last moment. Give yourself a day. We don't put through bids unless we usually have 3 days of a working day before you need to respond. Usually it can be a week when you include the weekend, but we usually don't have any bids showing on Fridays or Monday. So you will have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to respond. Once again, give yourself enough time, become familiar with the process. That's really important. Be broad when selecting your NAICS codes on RAMP. So the broader and wider your net, the more opportunities and information you will get that is out there, so that you can be notified for relevant opportunities from various entities like the City of LA, LADWP, LA Harbor, and LA World Airports. Register for any applicable certification and or preferences. Next slide, please. Oh.
Okay, I'll jump back in for this portion here. Again, just to reiterate, we do want to support our local and our small businesses here in Los Angeles. And so for those, as well as all business entities, we are here to support you. Here's our contact information in the event that you need support. So our help desk general phone number is 213-928-9500. If you need LAVSS specific support, you can email us at the email listed there. If you have general questions about just purchasing for the city of Los Angeles, we have gsd.centralp, as in Paul, it's known as central purchasing, at lacity.org. And then in addition to that, I'll go ahead and share my screen here just briefly. But we have a link to, let's see here, if this comes up okay. In the PowerPoint that you guys will get, there is also this contact sheet that lists out the different types of commodity groups that we have. So automotive, construction and building maintenance, general operations and IT, industrial, and public safety. And what you can see under each of these is the different types of commodities that would fall under each of these groups. So if you provide, for example, automotive products, here's a specific contact, a name, a phone number of the supply services manager, the supervisor, and analysts that fall underneath this group. So again, just another resource for you to have if you're wanting to talk to someone more about you know, how you can go ahead and start doing business with the city of Los Angeles. And I'll stop sharing at that point.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the information, Martha, Brian, and Bree. And with that said, we're gonna go into a time of, and Monica, if you're there, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, and then we'll get into the question and answers afterwards. So go from here.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. So this slide is just to show you all other additional resources aside from the ones that GSD shared, and they'll all be linked on the presentation as well when you get a copy of both the recording and the PDF of the presentation. So you should be able to reference that after this webinar is over. But just other webinars we wanted to shout out in terms of our small business webinar series. This is the third of a 6-part series. So we are looking to have 3 more at least until July. So be on the lookout for that. And this is more or less small business accessible, but it also is to supplement our monthly RAMP registration webinar that we have put on by our RAMP support team. That is answering in the chat as well. So they will have a more RAMP focused registration webinar on building your business profile and just the basics of navigating RAMP. So definitely look out for that. The next one is going to be in January. One way to get notified of both the small business webinar series and the registration webinar is to sign up for RAMP, and you'll get notified via our RAMP newsletter. And just additional City of LA procurement resources we wanted to mention that kind of align with small business access and catering to small business opportunities include the Business Source Center workshops and webinars. So we linked those there for your reference, as well as other networking events put on by some of the city agencies, including Accessing LA and Small Business Academy. If you ever are interested in that, definitely take a look. And when you get sent the recording for this as a registrant, you'll get the link to the resource folder, which will include again, the recording and then the PDF of the presentation and any other relevant links and attachments that we have discussed during this presentation. So be on the lookout for that as well. And we're also including a survey link here in the presentation. Again, this is the third of a 6-part series for small business webinar. So we wanted to take the time to see if we can get feedback from the audience and the attendees. Those of you that have attended the small business webinar since we started, and those of you who have attended for the first time today, we'd really appreciate your feedback for any future webinar topics, or definitely any type of procurement topics that you want to hear from, what has been helpful for you, and what you'd like to see more of in the future from our office and other city agencies that we can collaborate with. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, and let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Monica. I think with that said, what we'll do is we'll actually go through some of the chat questions that we've received, the ones that maybe were not answered, and then we'll move into a couple of questions that we've prepared for GSD as well. So I guess just going chronologically. So the first question from Melissa Daly: hello, our company works as an Internet of Things technology platform that the city can benefit from. How can we introduce it to the city? So one thing I would recommend, Melissa, is to register for RAMP. Please do find opportunities that kind of match the technology slash, I guess, look at Information Technology Agency, which is our IT department, as well as other departments that may be looking for either Internet of Things or some kind of professional service when it comes to technology. Do your research there, and what you'll find is a contract administrator email address, and that'll be kind of my first recommendation for you to actually maybe contact those people and see if those departments are actually looking to even look at IoT platforms and so forth. So just once again, register for RAMP, and then afterwards, please do contact the contract administrators that are on those opportunities that are within the realm of IoT and tech. So Cliff Hayes: are the city's payment vendors upon completion made electronically? Yes, if the vendor elects to do so. And I believe ACH on LAVSS, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, can be done through VSS. You can elect to do it there.
Yeah, so that's actually a functionality that we're going to be rolling out. So the standard form of payment for commodity transactions is through paper check at the moment, but we are going to be rolling out ACH to our vendors who have commodity contracts through VSS. So that will be coming out here in the near future.
Awesome. So look forward to that. And also, if it's a non-commodities contract, please do contact the contract administrator as well as the person you're interfacing with the department. They do have forms you can fill out with your bank information and so forth to get that process started as well. Thank you, Brian. Jason Shao, how are purchases below, say, 25,000 or 10,000 where departments don't need to post on Ramp? How are those handled, or how do we connect with buyers for those? So since we're speaking on commodities, I'll probably want Brian and team to maybe answer that part first, and then this latter portion of that question I'll go ahead and answer for just, in general, or services, purchasing and so forth. So Brian, if you want to go.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so those small dollar amounts, $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, all those types of opportunities that are, those dollar amounts and are not available, commodities that are not already available on contract, those would be considered requests for quotes. So like I had showed before, you would go into the RFQ event on LAVSS. Also, Ramp shows the opportunity as well, and from there you'll be able to see the buyer's contact information. If you want, I can do a quick screen share to show you where you would be able to find that. So give me 1 second here. So that. You can actually, I'm gonna even sign out. So this is just if you don't have an account at this point, you could go to view published solicitations. All of our solicitations are posted here. So let's say for the archery kits and supplies, you want to contact the buyer regarding that. So here is the contact information for the buyer. But I would like to reiterate that if you do have a specific question, it is best to go through this 3-dot menu here and ask the buyer that way. So then again, just transparency to ensure that all information is shared to those interested in the opportunity, but also to remove any duplicate questions that maybe multiple businesses have regarding an event. I hope
Awesome.
that answers your question, but if not, feel free to email us and we could provide further assistance.
Right. And I think Martha and Bree, you have your hands up if you guys want to say something.
Yeah, I would just like to add to what Brian said. Our office policy is to post anything over $1,000 on Ramp. So I don't know about the other departments. That could be professional services. That's handled a different way. But for our office, anything over $1,000 will be posted on Ramp.
Yeah. And that is actually fantastic. And, something that we really do appreciate about GST is, they do post everything. And on top of that, GST does realize that a lot of these smaller dollar opportunities are perfect for, kind of taking your first kind of step or bite into city contracting and or procurement, especially if you're within that commodity space. And that kind of lines up. And Martha, sorry to interrupt, but is there anything that you would like to kind of go over as well? Because your hand is up.
Basically, okay. Bree basically answered the same thing I was going to respond to, that we do post everything.
Yes. And yeah, once again, it's like, GST is on top of it and they're very responsive. And on top of that, I just want to say, for the rest of the city, and Jason, and I believe there was somebody else that direct messaged me as well, but that is a practice that we are trying to kind of put forth with the rest of the city as well. There was a recent council or recent ordinance kind of talking about under $25,000 contracts or purchases not in writing. And something that our office at the Office of Procurement here have issued is instructions to departments to actually post those under $25,000 opportunities onto Ramp so that it is transparent and the small business community as well as the business community at large can see who and what are departments purchasing for, especially with these under $25,000 purchases. And so that actually is going to all kind of tie up. Sorry to kind of geek out in terms of policy speak, but the city is trying to roll something kind of citywide called the Community Level Contracting Program, which is kind of the city's way to make accessible, make transparent, and make very visible to the business community, and more specifically, small business community, of opportunities that you can once again bite your teeth on, like your first government contract. And we're trying to help the departments understand what it is, how to identify those opportunities within their department, starting with like the larger scale bench contracts to maybe like the $150,000 and under, and then like the $25,000 and under tiers, so that we can compile all of those contracts into hopefully either a single place on ramp, or we'll have a flag. We're still in the process of creating that flow, but to that effect, if you think about it, if we asked all of the departments to come up with one RFQ list that they can share and basically say this is going to be a CLC bench, that's like 50 contracts that are actually meant for the small business community right there. And then however many, prime contractors are looking for to be on those benches or on-call lists, that's huge. The next thing after that, if we're asking departments to provide 3 contracts of about $100,000 or $150,000 so that, it kind of coincides with the local business preference, that's fantastic as well. And that's technically 150 contracts. And so we're trying to make these things very clear and visible so that people and small businesses can actually, like that's something that I'm interested in, something I can provide. And we want that competition, as Brian mentioned earlier. Competition actually helps. It helps everyone. It lowers the cost for us, but at the same time gives people opportunity. And we think it drives the best as well. So I'm going to be going.
If I may just add one extra point along the veins of transparency. I'm going to share my screen here one last time. Another cool feature that's available in LAVSS, and this is also posted onto RAMP. If you go to the View Public Solicitations and you filter by, instead of open, recent awards and click search, what you'll see are awards that have been posted on LAVSS so that businesses can see what kind of pricing the city is awarding for, maybe items that are applicable to your company. So for example, here, eye wash stations and accessories, if you say provide those types of items, you could go ahead and click into the opportunity here. You can click the notice of award and you can see the unit price that was awarded for the certain types of items that were a part of this bid solicitation. So again, just another way for businesses to see prices that the city is awarding, but also it's a good tool for you to do your market research to see what is a competitive price based off of a previous solicitation, and that way make your bid as competitive as possible.
Awesome, Brian. I know we're running low on time, but there are a couple more questions I did want to quickly answer as well. We do have a question from Cliff. I may have misunderstood, but is there a preference for SBE, small business enterprise, or only local small business enterprise? And so currently the way it is set up, we don't necessarily have a just specific small business enterprise preference in terms of a bid preference, but we do have one if it's attached to a local business preference program and if you have a small business enterprise certification as well. So please, as Martha was mentioning, please do apply for those certifications. The local business preference is one of the certifications that actually do have a monetary advantage. It helps the local businesses within the Los Angeles County area, and then soon to be Los Angeles City specific area, have a bid preference and or bid preference more or less on their contracts that you are bidding for. So additionally, there is one other certification question that I want to quickly answer from Tina. Does the firm have to be a certified small business with the city of LA to be considered an SBE, or for City of LA opportunities, or is it our State of California SBE certifications sufficient? Yes, if you have your State of California SBE certification, that is where we ask, we ask everyone to go fill out a a State of California DGS SBE or DVBE certification. But with that said, after you register and are approved through the state, please do mark it within your RAMP profile that you are a SBE or a DVBE or the certifications that you were, bestowed by the state, and then our staff here at the Bureau of Contract Administration will actually verify your certification and then put that information onto RAMP. And so kind of a two-step process there, but yeah, go to the state DGS website and then go to RAMP and then mark that you are a SBE, and then we'll go ahead and verify that information to use for our certification information here. A couple more questions came at the bottom. Does commodities include consumer products such as cosmetics or consumer electronics? Yes, I think Brian's nodding his head.
Yeah, anything from any sort of commodity can be posted, and again, if it's over $1,000 and not available on contract, we would post that opportunity on LAVSS and LARAMP for companies to view.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. And if there are no other questions, please feel free to email us both, and we'll send all of the email contact information, as well as feel free to email the Office of Procurement, and we're more than happy to continue the dialogue. The one last thing I'll say about the survey that Monica is sending out, if you are interested in actually participating in a focus group and or just kind of continuing the dialogue in a more, specific manner, we are actually planning on creating focus groups to discuss with the small business community your needs, kind of what you're looking for in terms of support, resources and things like that. So please do check out the small business webinar survey, and then we'll continue this conversation and hope to see everyone here at the next small business webinar. And thank you to our friends at General Services Department, and we really appreciate you all for participating in the small business webinar. And looking forward to continuing this series. So thank you all and have a good day.
Great. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Daniel.
Thank you for all your help.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.